Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to.
Central Asia recognized Greek Cyprus. Turkey's angry.
What do you mean?
Oh,
On the
hold up. Why is
map?
this muted? Hold up. Who muted this video? Oh, let's. Yeah, on the. I
Reported
guess.
cybernetic shift occurred when Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan,
Because, you know, like.
Oh, Google Maps?
No, not good. It was. Countries didn't, I guess, didn't recognize Turkish Cyprus because Turkey, like, wanted to have their own little Cyprus, separate Cyprus, like, splits Cyprus into parts. So I'm not sure
So what
what.
does it say now?
I don't
I
know.
thought
Let's
it just
see.
said Cyprus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Turkmenistan publicly supported Cyprus's sovereignty and labeled Turkey as an occupying power in northern Cyprus. This development has strained Ankara's ambitions for pan-Turkic unity and raised questions about the future of the Organization of Turkic States. For decades,
Turkic.
Turkey has sought to unite the Turkic world under a
So what is Turkic world? All the stands plus Turkey? I didn't know this term. Wow, Turkic world.
single banner, championing the cause of pan-Turkism. With the creation of the Organization of Turkic States,
They include all the stands?
I guess, because these are all the stand countries that recognized it.
Ankara envisioned a future in which linguistic, cultural, and political ties among Turkic nations would evolve into tangible regional cooperation. From Turkey to Central Asia, this vision aimed to revive a historical bond that transcended borders. However,
It's like are they able to travel amongst each of those states, or
Yeah, I think most.
countries?
Yeah, I think they're not like at war or anything
So
like
it's like
that.
a Turkey Union.
Turkic, yeah, Turkic. I never, yeah,
Union.
I've never heard of that before. That's so interesting.
Recent developments
Me
have sent
either.
shockwaves through Ankara's strategic ambitions. 4 Central Asian states publicly declared support for UN resolutions labeling Turkey as an occupying power in northern Cyprus. Even more striking, they appointed ambassadors to the Republic of Cyprus, a move seen as tacit recognition of Greek Cypriot sovereignty over the entire island, directly undermining Turkey's position and its recognition of the Turkish Republic of.
So who said that? So Central Asia recognizes Greek Cyprus. So I thought Turkey is a part of Central Asia. So everyone a part of that group
Central
is.
Asia. So I think who were we talking about is Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, those countries.
So
Uzbekistan.
they're saying that Turkey's occupying Cyprus.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
they basically declared that.
Oh, okay.
Northern Cyprus. From Ankara's perspective, this wasn't just a diplomatic snub, it was a betrayal.
And Turkmenistan too.
Cyprus has been divided since 1974, when Turkey launched a military intervention following a coup aimed at uniting the island with Greece. Turkey established the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Ankara. Meanwhile, the international community continues to treat the north as occupied
Ankara
territory.
almost sounds like in Alaska. Anchorage.
For Turkey,
Where's
Turkey.
Oh.
recognition of the Turkish Republic of Northern
I
Cyprus
just learned
is a
the European map. Now I have to learn.
Ankara is just a city in Turkey.
Yeah, and I understand. I'm just because you're throwing new cities at me.
cornerstone
Okay.
of its foreign policy. Over the years, Ankara has tried to gain international legitimacy for Northern Cyprus, even lobbying to include.
It is interesting that he's using Ankara instead of Turkey.
So it's just the city?
No, I think, like he's by saying Ankara he means Turkey.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
I'm saying, is the
interesting
city
why he
doing
keeps
that?
saying Ankara and not Turkey as a whole country.
The Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus as an observer in international organizations, such as the Organization of Turkic States.
But
However, this strategy
the city's Ankara said that Turkey is occupying.
No.
Cyprus. So who's saying?
Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan,
Okay.
Turkmenistan.
All the others is
Yeah.
saying,
And
oh,
Ankara, aka Turkey, is upset.
okay.
collided with the interests of other players, particularly the European Union, which regards Cyprus as an EU member state in its entirety. This makes any support for the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus an immediate red line. Over the past decade, the Europe
I get it because if Turkey wanted to like declare a separate republic, right, in Cyprus, they needed like some sort of allying countries to also declare that. And since they are like allies of their like alliance of Turkic states, and even they didn't, kind of,
Yeah.
that's like really like, ooh.
Makes them look crazy. Like
Yeah, well, yeah, makes them like, oh, we have no
Or
support.
offers no
Yeah,
legitimacy.
like they have no support now. That
So
I see it.
when you refer to, okay, so you, how I would call it is just, it's Cyprus, but in Turkey they would
Rep-
call it
it
Republic.
they would call it, yeah, Greek Cyprus and the Republic of Turkish Cyprus or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
European Union has been actively expanding its presence in Central Asia. Through initiatives like the EU Central Asia Strategy and the Global Gateway Infrastructure Plan, Brussels has increased its diplomatic footprint and invested heavily in connectivity, green energy, and economic cooperation. At the EU Central Asia Summit in Samarkand, the issue of Cyprus was quietly but firmly placed on the agenda. In exchange for deeper economic partnerships, visa liberalization, and infrastructure investments, Central Asian states were nudged to align more closely with EU norms, including respect for international resolutions, particularly United Nations Security Council resolutions 541 and 550, which condemn the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus's declaration of independence. This diplomatic move serves multiple purposes for the EU.
But this is so silly. Oh, they condemn it, but they don't do nothing about it. Oh yeah, we condemn you, but keep going. Like, if you condemn it, do
Mm.
something about it. Like what?
First, it pulls Central Asia further away from Russia's orbit. Second, it
Oh yeah, that's
neutralizes
big.
Turkey's ambitions for regional leadership within the Turkic world. And finally, it signals to member states like Greece and Cyprus that Brussels is committed to defending their sovereignty even beyond European borders. For Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and Kyrgyzstan, the economic incentives from the EU outweigh symbolic ties to Turkey. By backing the UN's position
Oh.
on Cyprus, these states secured financial benefits and a stronger foothold in global diplomacy. At first glance, Moscow
But I guess not all the stances here. Afghanistan is not here.
appeared
Mm.
absent from this diplomatic drama, but silence does not mean indifference. Russia has historically maintained significant influence in Central Asia through military ties, energy, infrastructure, and economic interdependence. However,
That's a good move by Europe to cut off Russia, from those countries if you deepen the ties with Europe. Because those were ex-Soviet countries too.
Moscow
Mm.
has been stretched thin due to the war in Ukraine, Western sanctions, and growing Chinese assertiveness in the region. Russia has no direct stake in the Cyprus issue, but anything that weakens Turkey's role in the Turkic world benefits the Kremlin. Since the Second Karabakh War in 2020, Turkey has steadily increased its influence in the Caucasus and Central Asia, occasionally clashing with Russian interests. Turkey's growing presence in Central Asia has been interpreted by some in Moscow as a challenge to its traditional sphere of influence. By watching Central Asian states distance themselves from Turkey over Cyprus, Russia gains breathing room. It also creates an opportunity for the Kremlin to reassert its dominance in the region without appearing confrontational. Moreover, as Turkey balances its NATO membership with regional ambitions, a diplomatic defeat weakens Ankara's hand in broader negotiations with Moscow.
Mm.
Beijing's position on the Cyprus dispute is one of careful neutrality. China officially supports the sovereignty of Cyprus as recognized by the UN, but avoids directly condemning Turkey. Yet in the context of Central Asia, Beijing's silent diplomacy plays a far more influential role. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has invested billions into infrastructure, transport corridors, and energy pipelines across the region. Central Asian states are heavily indebted to China and increasingly dependent on Chinese trade. With this leverage, China has encouraged regional actors to pursue a multi-vector foreign policy, one that avoids exclusive alliances with any single power, including Turkey. The latest developments may be part of this broader strategy. By aligning with international norms on Cyprus, Central Asian states showcase independence while reassuring Brussels and Washington. At the same time, they stay in Beijing's good graces by not rocking the boat on sensitive issues like Taiwan Xinjiang or BRI projects. China's priority is to maintain regional stability, economic growth, and freedom of movement for its goods.
It's so interesting watching these like politics. It seems like there's so much walking on eggshells. It's crazy. Like every little step, you like tippy-toeing around everything. It's wild.
Yeah.
Tension between Turkey and Central Asian states over Cyprus suits Beijing, so long as it doesn't escalate into larger conflict. For Ankara, the reaction from its Turkic brothers is deeply disappointing. Pan-Turkism, once imagined as a unifying vision across continents, is now fractured by realpolitik. The organization of Turkic states, despite its cultural symbolism and political potential, lacks the institutional weight to mediate such disagreements. Its members have different political systems, strategic goals, and foreign policy alignments. The Cyprus dispute has exposed the limitations of
Okay, so this is all the Turkic world. Okay, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkey. Hungary is part of the Turkic world. Wow, I didn't would have never thought so. What else we got? Uh, damn, that country on the bottom, I don't know what country that is. Okay, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. So there's one country that I don't know what it is. Oh, okay.
unity based solely on language and heritage. Moreover, the appointment of ambassadors to Cyprus by Central Asian states is not just a diplomatic move. It's a message that loyalty in international politics is fluid and national interests come first. Was it really betrayal, or is this simply international relations at work? From Ankara's viewpoint, the actions of Central Asian states feel like a stab in the back. But from the perspective of Astana, Tashkent, Ashgabat, and Bishkek, it's a logical recalibration in an increasingly complex global landscape. Faced with pressures from the EU, incentives from China, and an eye on long-term autonomy from Russia and Turkey alike, Central Asia is charting its own course. In this game of great powers, old friendships are not enough. What matters are strategic alignments, economic gains, and geopolitical flexibility. As Turkey reflects on these developments, it may need to reconsider how it defines its regional leadership.
Wow.
The age of ideological brotherhood is fading. In its place
So-
emerges a new
Turkey doesn't have too many friends.
They're still friends. It's just like a little. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
I think it is.
I don't think so, because UN
'Cause what-
has been condemning Turkey, but they ain't gonna do nothing about it. So it's like, okay, on paper, it's like, on paper, oh yeah, this is bad, don't do it. But behind the back, it's like, okay, we don't give a fuck. That's what kind of it is. That's what it's looking like to me.
Can I see the comments?
This is a huge diplomatic victory for the Greek side. It's an absolute disaster for the Turkish side. Turks are telling the Greeks that Turks are telling to the Greeks that islands and all Cyprus are Turkish. They forgot that a lot of cities who they are living inside the West Central and European Turkey have a Greek name. Oh, everything about Cyprus is Greek. Everybody who can read knows this. Greetings from the Netherlands. Yeah, Turkey is not the popular one in this matter.
Yeah. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.